Hello and welcome to Scots United, where I, Scott, and my team of Scots, who are also me, as well as my dog Margo, bring you the latest in movies, television, and popular culture. Now, we have been trying to catch up on some of our movie viewing lately, so we just watched here at Scots United a movie that should be available on demand, in this case HBO Go, for home viewing. So let's go to Scott.
Hey Scott, so I watched Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Hidden Kingdom, Fallen Kingdom, I think it is. Does it matter? On HBO Go. Now, sometimes I watch movies as I'm doing a project. So this was like a one-eye movie, I'm like working and like watching and working and watching. So did I give it my full attention? I suppose not. But did it warrant my full attention? No, it did not.
Agreed.
I feel like this movie is a Frankenstein. I feel like it essentially lifts chunks of other Jurassic Park movies and other movies and just sort of plops them back in. Like even at the beginning, when Bryce Dallas Howard is finding Chris Pratt and they have that whole like, oh, I broke up with you, I broke up with you, and
I've seen this before and better elsewhere. What about Chris Pratt?
he does all these Instagram selfies of him like working out and showing his body transformation, but they can't have him be shirtless once in this whole movie.
Tragic. So how do you feel the movie, balances out or lives up to, Jurassic World?
I feel like this one, much like Jurassic World, was fun and kind of silly, and that could be okay. But I feel like this one was just, well, we need an even bigger dinosaur. Now we need to make up an even scarier dinosaur, and it's just like schlock upon schlock. And I was not pulled away to have to watch it, to want to watch it, to really care.
Yikes. So spoilers ahead. How does it end?
And the only truly interesting thing about it is where it's going for this final movie they're going to do. Now that dinosaurs are just free and on the planet. And that could be a different kind of movie. I mean, that could be a very different kind of Jurassic Park because it isn't a park or a world or whatever or one place. People have bought dinosaurs and now there's dinosaurs flying around and, and swimming still near the old island. The point is, like, could they go an interesting way? Sure. Will they? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think it's going back to Trevorrow, who made Jurassic World, but shit the bed so badly when he made that Book of Henry catastrophe that they dumped him from making the third Star Wars movie. So I think he's back to making the third Lost World movie, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good or inventive or different. It could just be bigger and bigger and stupider.
So worth watching?
I know, if you have like ironing to do, you know, if you're like cleaning and you want to have it on the background, I just don't think it really offers much.
Okay, so Jurassic World, generally crap, but if you're looking for something that isn't crap, let's go to Scott and hear about a recently new offering to television.
Hey Scott, so it's Easter Sunday. That's all about the resurrection, right? So let's talk about vampires. They're undead, similar.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, so What We Do in the Shadows was originally a indie movie out of New Zealand. It starred Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi, who also directed. Jermaine is half of the Flying Conchords. Taika just directed Thor Ragnarok. So they've kind of repurposed the concept for FX with different characters. Now it's set in Staten Island. The three leads are two men and a woman. So they're bringing a little more gender balance to the show.
Yes, to gender balance, we like that, that's good. But what about the show overall?
It's a lot of fun. When I watched the movie for the first time, as it began, I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh no. Then it just sort of washed over me, and I totally embraced the humor. And I feel like the show is the same. Watch the first episode, and I'm like, okay, it has its charm. They've mixed things up. There's an energy vampire now who's this really mild-mannered, bland guy. The actor who plays Nandor, the Relentless, is super hot.
Yeah. Margo, what do you think? Distracted by a turtle. Let's go back to what we do in the shadows.
Quirky. I mean, the show is quirky with a capital Q. It may all be in caps. But now that it's like 4 episodes in, I feel like it's in its rhythm and I'm liking it more and more and where it's going. So, you want something fun, absurd, quirky, and strange, but kind of hilarious and just different? Check it out.
Okay, so what we do in the shadows, quirky with a capital Q. Worth a shot, worth a look, take a look, available on demand. Hey, it's good times. If you enjoyed Lady Bird recently too, with Saoirse Ronan, her friend Beanie Feldstein is also in the show and has a fun part. So check it out. It's Sunday, it's Easter, you're hopefully celebrating with family. I will be soon enough. Also tonight, episode 2 of the final season of Game of Thrones, talking about popular culture, talking about the biggest show in the whole wide world. Watched the first episode last week. It really was a building episode, clearly, right? They're setting up the big wham bam finale, lots of reunions. You got Arya with Jon, you got Arya talking to Gendry, and Gendry looking good. You got, Sansa meeting Daenerys, and there's, catfight. But, not quite. But, that's kind of what we expected, right? It was the first episode. Cersei with Euron. I call him Euron. It may be Euron, but really, doesn't he just seems like he'd smell like urine, doesn't he? I'm so over Cersei, I can't even talk about it. So my prediction, I think, we're going to have some White Walker battles, and then I think the final bit is going to be having to then take the survivors of all the North battle stuff and head down and take King's Landing and have that final battle down there. Remember, for those of you that have been watching, when Dany had that vision of the Iron Throne in the House of the Undying, remember the roof was all gone and there was snow coming in. So I think King's Landing is going to get effed up, something fierce, before it's all over. And there might be a sort of Reconstruction era coming when it's all done. Will we have, dual king and queen, Dany and Jon together? Maybe. Pull a William and Mary. Just be joint sovereigns. That can work. Again, gender balance. That's apparently the theme of this week's show. Enjoy your Easter. Enjoy Game of Thrones. And I'll see you again next week after I've watched Avengers Endgame.